Hey guys, how's it going? Thank you very much for checking out the video. If this is your first time, don't forget to like and subscribe and ring that bell to turn on notifications. So, without further ado, I'm just going to get right into it. The reason that Fortnite competitive on consoles is dead is basically because Epic has given such an advantage in the competition to PCs. Now, everybody calls PC the master race, and I get that, and I honestly do believe that if people do want to be competitive, that they would have to move on to the PC platform, whether you're playing with keyboard or mouse or whether you're playing with a controller. The biggest problem with this is that there's millions and millions of people that play on consoles, and there's actually thousands of talented people that would be able to be competitive if they weren't kind of gimped by some of the systems that were on the console and really kind of locking them down in their skill sets. Now, there's a couple of solutions for this, but I don't think Epic's really going to take them into consideration, because they'll say, well, we just want to be, catering for the best experience and keeping it all together. And to be honest with you, this really does a disservice to the millions of players who are on mobiles and also consoles, and they're really good players and they don't deserve that. So what can we do to address it? Well, there's a couple of things. The first thing is that we can ask Epic to let console only players play in their own pool of the tournament, so gauntlets and solos and all these other in-game events that they've got up leading up to the World Fortnite Cup could be just between console players, because when you actually get to the PC that you're going to play on in the event, it doesn't matter, you're going to have that same chance that everybody else had. But the biggest difference is that console players right now don't even get an opportunity really to qualify. From those that played the Winter Royale, in North America, I believe one person out of every single person that could qualify actually managed it. That was on console. I'm not saying controller players don't get through, because controller players on PC are definitely making it, but the people who are on an actual console playing with a controller, so I'm talking about PS4, Xbox, and even a Nintendo Switch, for example, how are they meant to be competing with a PC crowd who can get 240 frames per second locked, 500 something, 900 frames per second unlocked? And they've got the monitors that also back up the refresh rate. Even if as a console player you went and you got the monitor that's got a refresh rate of 240 and everything else, the bottom line is that you can't go above 60 frames per second. And there's a lot of streamers that have even played on consoles who have now switched to PC, and they've mentioned why you can't actually play endgame on a console. So can you imagine being in a tournament, you got through the first kind of stages, you've got your points, you've built your points up, and now you're really getting into it with the best of the best. And if everybody was on a console, everybody's in the same position, they would still all be experiencing the same sort of lag, the slowdown, they would have the same drop in frame rate. So if a person's playing on a console against another console player, if they're going to experience any lag going from say 60 frames per second down to 30 frames per second for a few seconds or whatever it was, then that's an identical experience almost. But if you compare a person on a PC who's got 240 frames per second, and they're going to be going down to 200 or just under 200, that's nowhere near the same lag or experience in frames per second drops that you're experiencing as a console player. It's a lot different. There's a lot more hitches. It's not a balanced experience. Not only is console Fortnite kind of staggered and held back in some ways, but you can see it right now, turbo building and stuff is broken. So to be able to play at the higher frames per second on PC gives them an advantage that you're not going to get on console to react as quickly. My solution is pretty simple. You get the console, Xbox One, PS4 players, put them in their separate pools, and let them play it out, and then put them all together in the actual tournaments when they get to the actual qualifying stages. And this might help sort something out. I think mobile players, they're not getting the recognition that they really deserve because they're shoved in with PC as well. So maybe Epic could just, you know, take a little slice of the prize pie and put it to one side and give a mobile only, you know, tournament that they're going to represent mobile players on. Because come on, I mean, these guys are not going to be able to compete with regular console players on the hardware that they usually play on average, compared to even trying to compete with PC. You know, I think another mistake that might be being made is that they're really kind of looking at console aim assist and saying, oh, we're competitive because we've got aim assist. But aim assist on consoles is actually less than aim assist on PC. And if you look at it, that's so true when you even look at the pro players. They're all on the PCs, lasering people, as they claim, from the keyboard master race, who's got every single advantage you could hope for in a keyboard and mouse, such as, you know, precise aim, Kovacs training that they can use, so on and so forth. The quickest edit plays possible are on keyboard and mouse. So if a controller plays, you know, on a PC and playing against a person on keyboard and mouse, they still have to adapt their style completely differently. Look, for me, I think another thing that we could possibly have Epic do, and I'll be completely honest with you, it's probably not a solution they're going to be using, is you get the console 60 frames per second lock to also be replicated on the PC. So let me kind of break that down for you a little bit. On PC, the Fortnite, you know, settings will allow them to choose frames per second and so on and so forth. But recently, in the latest update, if you guys have noticed, Fortnite, it causes you, if you want to play in certain game modes, to accept cross-platform parties. Now, I don't like that, because it's forcing me to play with a whole pool of different players that I might not really want to play with. I just want to stick with my own platform. But if I just want to play a game like console, you know, I guess Disco Domination as an example, you know, I've got to then put in a cross-platform request to play even by myself, and I've got to play with the PC, the mobile, the Xbox players, so on and so forth. So if Epic can force you to play cross-platform on game modes if you want to fill, I think they need to introduce a kind of performance version of PCs, so PCs get locked at 60 frames per second, and that they are, you know, able to do 4K if they want to at 60 frames per second, but they're locked at 60 frames per second, and that means that they would be, you know, pretty much comparable in the frames per second with the PC. Well, guys, that's my take on it. What do you think? If you've liked the video, do leave a like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.